Hello wonderful people, it's Wild here. This is part 2 on how to build a fishing hut. Now today I'm going to be showing you how I decorate the interior of this build. I was going to be showing you how to build this in a range of different biomes, but since this is such a big topic, I'll be breaking it up into 2 parts. So stay tuned for the next episode where I'll be showing you how you can customize this build to fit a range of biomes. Now, as we approach this build, I think a nice way to create a pathway, especially leading up to a build that's standing by itself in a biome, is to create a broken up look. Now here I've used some gravel as well as some dead coral blocks to add some extra texture, but let's make our way up towards the house. I've kept the decorations at the front simple as we've got quite a lot going on with the actual architecture of the build. So I've got some propagules in some pots, I've used some moss to create a little doormat, and I've just added a little lighting. Let's head inside. Now let's see how this build flows. It's important when creating an interior to make sure that you can flow throughout the spaces. So I've got a dining area here when you first walk in, and I've added a little table to the side to add some more decor. And this is going to flow into the kitchen. One thing that keeps a build feeling tied together is choosing a color palette. So here I've taken inspiration from the blue in these paintings as well as the purple colors and the reddish pink from the mangrove wood to create a blue, terracotta and pink color palette. And I'm tying it throughout. I've also got some hints of green which work really well with the propagules as well as the greenery and the flowers that I've chosen. And I'm using this in all of my item frames, on the chairs themselves, and I've even created some custom banners with just a little hint of that terracotta color. When you're designing an interior, it's important to start with the large pieces first. So I placed in my furniture and then I went in with my decor details. And I've made sure to keep enough walking room so we can flow through into the next space, and that's the kitchen. This area works really well for a kitchen as you can walk straight in with your fish from the docks in here to a place to prep, and I've even got some fresh fish here on the counter ready to be prepared. As for layout in this kitchen, the U shape of the space works really well for having a workspace, and I've got my sink in the corner, I've got a little fireplace here, and then on this side I've made use of this area to put in some bookshelves with some more room for decor. Even in small spaces, having lots going on the walls and on shelves and really filling up the space with furniture adds for a much more interesting design. If this space was empty, you would really feel the smallness of it, but with all the stuff going on, it feels like a lived-in space. Let's head upstairs next and check out the living room area as well as the bedrooms. So up here is where I've created my living room, as it is kind of a walking space between the living room, the dining room and our crafting area upstairs. So I've created a large furniture piece on the far wall which has some built-in storage. I'm using some copper here as it's got that lovely blue colour, and I'm using some item frames with some vines just to create the end of my couches. Once again with my decor I'm pulling in the greens and the reds. And then I've created a little bit of separation between the living room and the bedroom using this banner. This doesn't totally separate the space, but it does add a little bit of privacy. Let's head into the bedroom now. Now this is in the gable, and to create this space, I used some more mud brick slabs to just add a roof on top of where the kitchen is. You can see I've used the same banner from downstairs, which helps with continuity, and I've added a bed area and a desk area. This build has a nice high roof in this part of the house, so I've made use of this by placing some shelves up high and adding some decor. I've got a bell on that side, some candles, and I've got some eggs up there, a little tucked away. But filling up the space like that really brings your eye upwards to take in that really lovely gable shape. Also making use of the height of the gable, I've created a crafting room. Now if you're building this in survival, you might need some extra space, and a great option would be to extend the ladder downstairs and create a basement. But adding a crafting space, even a creative build, can add a lot of functionality, even if it is just for show. So this is my creating space. I've got some furnaces, I've got my crafting table, I've got an anvil, and tucked in here we've got a loom. And I really like the design on the back side of the loom. It works really well with these bookshelves. Now this is a bit of a tight space, so I created a galley style area, and that works well for long, narrow rooms. I've also built in storage here in the walls, and I've used the height of this build to add in some more storage and decor. Keeping in mind that there is not a lot of natural light in this area of the house, I've made sure to put torches nearby the window almost to imitate the natural light. And since you can't see out of the windows, I've put in a clock for functionality. That way you know what time of day it is. Next, I want to take a step outside, out here onto the dock. Now here I've created a functional space using lots of barrels for storage, but it is also pretty too. The barrels make sense as this is a working fishing cottage, and I've added a seating area here with a lovely campfire. That way I can take in the lovely views of my biome. I've added a fish using some trapdoors to create a makeshift barrel, and if I take a step back and have a look, you can see how it all flows together. Living spaces flow out into another functional living space, and I've used the same colors all throughout. Also on the exterior, I've got a little campfire site with a pathway leading around from behind the build. Now I think just a simple decoration like this, when your build is placed in a biome like a swamp, makes perfect sense. There's such a lot going on in the background of a biome like a mangrove swamp with all the trees that to make the build really stand out, you want to keep the exterior decoration relatively simple. Now that we've looked at how you could style the interior of this build and some ideas for decorating it in a mangrove swamp, let's build a fishing boat. I'm going to start by using some spruce planks and building up from the bottom of my lake here. So you might need to build up different heights, but you want it to be sitting just below the water like this. I'm then going to build 4 blocks across, and I'm going to decide that this is the back here by adding a stair and then a slab. When I'm going towards the front, I'm just going to use 2 slabs like that. Now on the 4th block here, which is towards the front, I'm going to add in 2 trapdoors and then 3 slabs coming backwards, and this is to create the back of the boat. Now let's work on the front of the boat to begin with. I'm going to use some spruce stairs and place them diagonally over the trapdoor here, so that way they're floating above the water. I'm then going to come 3 blocks across with some slabs, and then 3 slabs across coming out from these stairs. So it should be like that. I'm then going to add a slab on top of these 3 slabs here, as well as a trapdoor on these 2 sides. Next, I'm going to come out from this block on the top layer with the slab and place a block on top of that. I'll then use this by clicking in the corners to place in some stairs, and you can see we're creating a really nice swoop here. To finish off the swoop, I'm going to go in with 1 more stair and then 2 slabs on top, and then I'm going to use a spruce trapdoor just to smooth out the curve. Now coming towards the other side, I'm going to place in 3 slabs on either side like this. These are just placeholder blocks, so you could use dirt here instead, but I've got slabs on hand. I'm using this to place in some trapdoors and then breaking them afterwards. But then I will place a slab here, and then use the trapdoors by holding Shift to place a slab coming up on the diagonal. If I look from the end of the boat, you can see the curved shape of the boat. Now from here, I'm going to place in a stair right next to this slab, as well as on this side. And then I want to place a block in the corner, and then a stair at the very back. Now you can see that we have these gaps here. I'm going to place a block here and here, and then I want to start building up. So I'm going to place a slab to fill in this corner spot, a block on the back, and then 2 stairs placed upside down to create the curve on the back of the boat. Now I'm using blocks here around the back of the boat, so that way I can place things on top of them for decorating later. I'm also going to add 1 spruce trapdoor just here at the back, and this rounds off the shape just a little bit more. I'm going to create a little canopy, and for this I'm going to start by building 2 up using some spruce fences on these blocks here, and then I'll build 3 up next to these trapdoors here. For the canopy, I'm going to be using campfires, and I'll be putting those out using a shovel. Okay, so I'm going to need just the 2 on top of these posts here, and I'll build one out from either side of them. And in the center, I want to place a slab like that. Then we're gonna come forward in these 3 blocks. And I like that these have a different orientation to the ones behind them. I think it adds a bit more texture. I'm gonna continue with some slabs to create an outline like this. And then some blocks in the center, so we have a raised section. And then I just wanna go all the way around the outside of this with my campfires. So you can see if I look from above that these campfires are all going with the direction of the boat and these ones are going against it. And when you look from the side, this changes up the shape of the canopy. Now that the main structure of the boat is in, let's add some decorations. I am going to place in a composter up this end, and I like the texture that this has. It kind of looks like an alternative barrel. Now down this end, I'm going to add in an actual barrel and then use some spruce trapdoors to create a faux barrel where I can place a little fish. And I missed a tropical fish. Opposite this, I'm going to add in an anvil, and I think I'll have this on this side like that. And heading towards the back, I'm going to put in a few more barrels. I like to change up the orientation of these so they're facing in all different directions like this. Okay, I think that fills up the space nicely. I might put one more barrel in here. I think that looks great. Now for some decorations on top of these, I want to go in with some pots, as well as some lanterns. And I think I'll hang some of these from the canopy, maybe here and here. And then I want to place some perhaps on this stair over here. That way I'm distributing them throughout. Also going to go in with some turtle eggs. I'm going to place these on top of my anvil. Now I want to tie in the colors that I've used to decorate the interior of my build. So for flowers in the flower pots, I'm going to use the propagules as well as some blue orchids. I'm also going to place some item frames around the build, and I'll be using this to place in some fish and some tools. Let's see, where can I put one more? I might move this one down this way and place one on top of here. Of course, we need a fishing rod as this is a fishing boat, and then we'll put in some fish. Just a couple more things. I'm going to go in with some sea pickles. Once again, this ties in the green color that we used on the interior of the build. And then if we're looking from this side, you can see that there is a barrel on that side of the build. So when we look in from the boat, it has an effect on changing the shape of the back of the boat. And I want to do the same thing on this side without adding a barrel. So I'm going to come in with a trapdoor and place it against this slab. See how this adjusts the shape we have here? So now you know how to decorate this build and build a fishing boat. So this fishing hut looks right at home here in a mangrove swamp. Make sure you check out the final part of this series where I'll be showing you how to customize this build to fit a range of biomes. See you in another video!